All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, September 14th, 2021, and we just finished with week 1 of the NFL. So, of course, we're going to go over our week 2 NFL pick'em. Quick word about week 1. I did absolutely terrible. I went 7-10, but week 1 is not. I usually do bad on week 1 for like every season. I think I went back and looked like every week 1. I have a horrible season. Also, week 1 was kind of weird. A lot of weird upsets. A lot of weird teams won the game. I noticed that most people got like 5 or 6 games wrong. So most people kind of struggled on week 1. It's kind of like the hardest week to pick games because you're not really sure what everybody's going to look like. I mean, the first 3 weeks of the season are kind of like a scratch. You kind of just, hopefully you don't do terribly like I did. But hopefully week 2 we get it together. Hopefully we pick much better. Hopefully, we kind of have an idea of what teams are going to look like. There's still a chance that teams are polar opposite this week. So we could have another bad week. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully we get it together and pick well. But yeah, so let's jump into Thursday Night Football. Hopefully, again, we pick better than we did last week. We start off with the Giants playing the Washington Football Team. And all the lines are from FanDuel, and I just put them on there for whatever reason. If you bet, just use other sources too. Use a lot of sources to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. So we have the football team -3. They're favored by 3 with an over/under of 40.5. I have them winning 17-14. Based on what we've seen in Week 1, Washington played the Chargers, who looked like a solid team. And then the Giants played the Broncos, and they just kind of got beat up on. And this game's going to be in Washington, so it's you kind of always have the favorite of the home team in a division game. Substantially better defense, a bit better of an offense. I don't know. This just feels like it's going to be the Giants game to win. I know Washington has some problems with the quarterback position, but I think Heineke is probably a better option than Daniel Jones, who just appears to not be a quarterback, like a starting quarterback. It doesn't appear Jones has it. So unless Daniel Jones puts it together and starts winning games, the Giants looked kind of like lost on offense. They didn't have like good chemistry yet between Galladay and Jones and company. I think not playing Daniel in the preseason and like a lot of the offense in the preseason was a big mistake. And we're going to see the Giants. It's going to take them a couple weeks to get going, where I think Washington can kind of get it going this week and win on their defense. So give me Washington 17-14. Let's go to 1 o'clock. This game, it's a bad offensive line and a rookie quarterback, and we know what the Patriots tend to do in these kind of games. Especially since Becton's going to miss this game. He's out for like 4 to 6 games. For the Jets. The Patriots are 5.5-point favorites with an over/under of 42.5. I have them winning 24-14. The Patriots, they did lose that game against the Dolphins, but it was kind of like they could have won had they not fumbled like inside the 30 of the Dolphins. So it's kind of hard to say, well, yeah, Patriots are, but no, they just kind of made a mistake late in the game, and the Dolphins were able to just go sit on the ball and kneel it out to win. So that's how they won. That's how the Patriots lost that game. That's how the Dolphins won it. So I do think the Patriots are a substantially better team than the Jets. Whereas the Jets aren't terrible, but they're going to be a couple years from being like competitive. I think they'll be able to score some points, but again, the offensive line issue is going to be really bad. And the Patriots were able to get after Tua a few times and cause some havoc again in that Dolphins game. So give me the Patriots because their defense is going to be problematic for the Jets. And I think the Patriots offense gets it going a little bit more against this Jets defense. Broncos and Jaguars. Broncos looked really good week 1. Jaguars did not. Broncos are 6-point favorites with an over/under of 45.5. It's hard to pick the Jaguars till they win a game. Like they lost to Houston pretty convincingly. I think they threw 3 interceptions, and I don't think Houston's thrown or had 3 picks. I think they had 3 picks all of last season, and they had 3 picks against the Jaguars. So I'm kind of like, yeah, all right. The Broncos look really good on defense. That's kind of what they're going to do again this game. I could imagine them smothering the Jaguars offense, and then looking pretty solid with Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know. I thought he looked all right. This should be a pretty easy win for the Broncos. I get it. This game, I know a lot of Dolphins fans are going to be pretty pissed off that I'm not picking their team. But it's nothing against the Dolphins. I think week 1 was a fluke for the Bills. I have no idea what happened to them week 1. It just seems like they just broke against the Steelers. Like they just went, yeah, nah. We're just going to lose this week. And that's exactly kind of like what that game felt like. Whereas the Dolphins, yeah, they won against the Patriots, but it did take the Patriots making a very rare mistake in late in the game on the Dolphins side of the field. So the Dolphins escaped with a very narrow week 1 win. Whereas the Bills, I think they just lost in a fluke. So like, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, the Dolphins, I think they're a good team, and if they can win this game, this is a very big prove-it game for them. If they win, then you can kind of look at the Dolphins and go, all right, they're a serious team. This is going to be a very good team. Whereas, because I don't know, they played a rookie quarterback. Like I can name reasons why they probably won that game 17-16. Rookie quarterback, pretty new, like a team that's trying to find its chemistry. There's reason, and a late fumble. Like, it's kind of like, all right. Whereas the Bills just got beat by the Steelers, who are, like, really good early on in the season. I think the Bills bounce back. I think they get it together. They didn't really play much in the preseason. I don't know. This feels like a game Buffalo could win. They're very good against the division with Josh Allen and company. So, give me the Bills in a bounce back game for them. If the Dolphins do win this game, I'll start taking them a lot more seriously. But they got to prove it here against one of the top teams in the AFC, if you will. I think the Patriots are one of the better teams in the AFC, but they're really, it's an interesting situation for the Patriots right now, trying to figure themselves out. Here's another game that I think will be not very good. I know the Eagles, all right, it's the 49ers and the Eagles. The 49ers are, so give me the Bills 28-24. Close game that I think the Bills come back late and win. I think the Dolphins looked a lot better than they should have because, again, it was a rookie quarterback that they were playing in his first start. So there are parts to the reason why I think the Dolphins won 17-16. They could have lost 23-14, or 17. So, it was a 1-point win. So it's not like the Dolphins came out and dominated. It was, lucky. Anyway, 49ers play the Eagles. I have the 49ers winning 35-21. I know the 49ers gave up a lot of points late, but I think that's just because the Lions just decided all of a sudden to play like hell. I really don't know what that was from Detroit at the end of that 49ers game. The Eagles played the Falcons, so I don't really consider that much of anything. The Falcons looked like a miserable team. The 49ers, though, were the only team, it seemed like, in the NFC West that had any modicum of a struggle against any of these teams. It seems like the NFC West is just way better than a lot of these other teams. Because, like, the Cardinals won with ease, Seahawks won with ease, Rams won with ease. Even the 49ers technically won with ease. I mean, but the Lions just kind of stormed back late and they almost blew it. But, onside kicks, the Lions actually got an onside kick. That was weird. If the Eagles win this game, I think it'll make a big believer out of everybody. But, right now, you got to go with the 49ers, man. Their defense is going to be crazy. Their offense is great. They put up 41 points with very little effort on the Lions. And I feel like they can do that on the Eagles as well. Again, the Eagles, I think they benefited from playing the Falcons in week 1. So that's kind of a big thing for them. Then we have the Rams playing the Colts. Again, the Rams didn't even struggle at all against the Bears. They looked like they were practicing, whereas the Colts looked like they need a little bit of time. They look like they need to get their chemistry together. They need to build up kind of some rapport. They need a couple weeks, it looks like. The Colts look like they're a few weeks behind based on the way they played week 1 against the Seahawks. Also, it's another NFC West team. It doesn't look like the Colts had very good luck with the NFC West so far. Rams are 4-point favorites, over under 47.5. Again, I think the Rams can win this game pretty handily. They looked really good week 1. Their defense was on fire. The offense was on fire. They looked like a team that was very well composed, very well coached, very good chemistry already. Whereas the Colts look like they need a couple weeks. I think by week 4 or week 5, the Colts will be a good top team in the AFC. But it's going to take a little while for Carson and company to get their stuff together, especially since Carson missed so much time in the preseason. So give me the Rams over the Colts in a good game. It'll probably be a good game. It's just the Rams will probably win. Let's see. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Raiders just had a great game against the Ravens, kind of like a little Monday night classic. The Steelers are 5.5-point favorites with an over/under of 49.5. Give me the Steelers 30-27. Both teams are 1-0. I think the Steelers are one of those teams that play early in the season. They're very hard to beat because they're very veteran laden. They have a lot of older players. They come out, they're very well coached. Again, no one really believes me on the well coached part. Tomlin's had one 500 season, but whatever. He's a bad coach, I guess. It's not like he's the victim of falling into the Brady and Manning era. There isn't plenty of coaches who aren't a lot better than what they seem, but it's just, Brady and Manning happen to exist at the same time. But whatever. I think Tomlin's a good coach, but they have a lot of good veterans. They're like a good team for like 10 weeks. I don't know how to describe the Steelers. And as soon as they get tired, it's over for them. It's going to be I feel like they're going to have a very similar run to last year. Maybe not start the season at 11-0, but like a 7-3 or like a 8-4 type start. Like something like that again, where they're really good early on and then like later in the season they become very beatable. But again, so that's why I like the Steelers here. I think the Raiders will keep it close because they seem to have like a really sneaky good offense that just kind of can come to life at any point. But I also wonder if the Raiders took advantage of a Ravens situation that like the running game was depleted, the corner situation was kind of weak. A lot of weird injuries for the Ravens keep happening. So I wonder if that's why the Raiders were able to take advantage and win that game, especially since the Ravens really didn't have much of a running situation last night. So give me the Steelers 30-27. I think the Raiders were able to take advantage of a weird situation. I don't think anyone really cares about this game unless you're a Bengals or a Bears fan, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. If the Bears start Andy Dalton, I don't think they're going to win this game. They looked really bad. Like they looked miserable on offense with Andy Dalton at the helm. And the Bengals on the other side looked really good. They looked like a solid team. It seems like when Joe Burrow's out there, they play a lot better on both sides of the ball. Seems like whenever Burrow's like playing, they have a chance of winning or at least being in every game that they play in, which is very, very odd because like when they didn't have him, they weren't like in these games. But now that he's back, they looked really good against the Vikings. So no, who'd they play? Yeah, it was the Vikings. Yeah. So I don't know. Based on week 1, I have to go the Bengals over the Bears. Like the Bears looked like bad against the Rams, and the Bengals looked like an actual decent football team, like a young team that's starting to figure itself out. Just keep Joe Burrow protected, keep that dude upright, get the ball to Jamar Chase as much as you can, and Boyd. And I don't know, man. The Bengals might actually be something if they can stay healthy. Like that's the big thing. Keep that kid healthy. They'll probably win because they seem to play a lot better when he's at quarterback. So give me the Bengals in a technical upset. Yeah, I'd be shocked. I mean, the Texans beat the Jaguars, but that's the Jaguars. Like, that's all I have to say about that. Cleveland Browns play the Texans. I have them winning 28-17. The Browns literally lost they'd never win week 1, and they played the Chiefs, and they almost won week 1. So, you know what I mean? Like, the Browns looked a lot better than, like, what they should have. That's not their game. They're 12.5-point favorites, by the way, with an over-under of 48.5. That's a crazy line. That is a gigantic line. That's like the biggest one this week, I think. I think there's one other one that's like 11.5 points, and that's like the Packers and the Lions, which is hilarious. Like that's a huge line. I have the Browns winning 28-17. I think they're going to win this quite handily, but winning by 13 is crazy. Yeah, Houston probably won't really compete in this game. I know they were able to do well in week 1, but again, that's against the Jaguars team with the new coach. Basically a whole new team is the Jaguars. So they took advantage of that and just kind of, well, I guess the Texans are, I don't know. The Jaguars are probably going to be really bad though. Whereas the Browns are probably like a playoff team and they're probably going to smoke the Texans. Hey, if the Texans win this game though, maybe Houston's actually got like a sneaky good football team. I don't know. I doubt it though. Yeah, the New Orleans Saints, that was crazy, play the Carolina Panthers. Both teams are 1-0. The Saints are favored by 3.5 with an over-under of 44.5. I have a shootout, and I like the Saints to win that game. Based on what I've seen in week 1, the Saints offense looks really good with Jameis Winston at the helm. He looks rock solid. He looked good. Like I couldn't find really much of a fault. 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. Jameis was eating W's all day. The Panthers looked really good against the Jets, so I'm kind of like, well, it was the Jets, and Sam Darnold was getting revenge. But I will take the game into consideration because I do think Darnold was the victim on the Jets, and I've always kind of defended him as a good quarterback in a bad situation. So I do think they'll stay in this game. I think it'll be a shootout type situation where the Saints take it in the end. I trust Jameis more than I trust Darnold in a shootout, so that's why I'm going to go Saints over Panthers. Plus, I trust the Saints defense a little more than the Panthers, so if it comes down to a team making a stop, shop. I trust the Saints more than I would the Panthers right now. So, on both sides, I trust the Saints more than the Panthers. So give me them. This game was the hardest one for me to pick, but again, it's basically I have to go on what I've seen in week 1. That's really what I have to operate on. So the Vikings struggled against the Bengals, who shouldn't have struggled against a team that they should be able to beat, especially since bad O-line for the Bengals and young team, and the Vikings have a decent defense. So I don't know what happened there. They seem to be a little bit behind. Maybe they need a couple weeks to get going. Whereas the Cardinals effortlessly beat the Titans. I mean, they kicked the shit out of them. Just like every NFC West team, it seems like they just effortlessly all won their games. So based on that, I kind of have to pick the NFC West teams this week until something challenges them and makes them lose. I really don't see them losing games to Minnesota and the Eagles, and the Colts might be able to do it, but again, they seem so lost week 1 that the Seahawks just kicked the crap out of them too. It's dude, they were such effortless wins by these NFC West teams. It's hard to pick against them right now. They didn't struggle. They looked like they were practicing. They were playing the other team's practice squads. It was so effortless. So give me the Cardinals over the Vikings. This game, I very much think the Vikings could do it, but I think they need a couple weeks. If this was week 5, I'd go with the Vikings. I don't pick the Falcons around here, so I'm not picking Atlanta. They look terrible. It's a hilarious thing. You just don't pick them, and you normally do well. Tampa Bay, they'll win. I just don't pick Atlanta. There's not much analysis to give here. Tampa Bay is way better than them. Matt Ryan looked lost. Pitts looked like the only guy on the Falcons who was a good football player. Give me Tampa Bay 31-21. Yeah, I feel bad kind of for the Titans. They had to play the Cardinals, I think. It was the Cardinals who they had to play. Yeah, the Titans played the Cardinals and got mollywopped. Now they got to go play the Seahawks, so it's probably going to be much of the same situation. The Seahawks are one of those teams also kind of like the Steelers who start off like world beaters, and Russell Wilson seems to be on one of those moods again to start this season off just like last year, where he's just going to come out and just destroy everything. And until the Seahawks get tired or you figure them out a little bit, later on, week 6, week 7, they're probably going to go 5 or 6-0 and just have 35 points a game again. Russell Wilson's a machine the first 8 weeks of the season. It's crazy how good the Seahawks are the first half of the season compared to the second half. So give me the Seahawks. Again, they're another NFC West team that glided to an effortless win over a team that, I think they beat the Colts. They just destroyed them. Every one of these teams just destroyed whoever they played in the NFC West. So, I also think that the Titans need to get a little bit of time down for the Coolio and Matt Tannehill chemistry. I think there's a couple games needed. And I really think that Titans defense got smoked really bad. Their defense is not good. And Seattle has one of those offenses that can score a lot of points with Lockett. They've got Metcalf, Lockett. They've got that. I don't know. It's they just can score, and they got Wilson. So give me the Seahawks 35-27. This is a game where the Titans could win, but based on their defense, I don't really see them being able to stop the Seahawks. Last 4 o'clock game. We've got the Dallas Cowboys playing the Los Angeles Chargers. This one actually was the hardest one for me to pick this week. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 55.5. I kind of had to go off what I seen in week 1. And basically, it was kind of Cowboys looked really good against the defending champions, and the Chargers looked really good against Washington. So what game do I put more stock into, right? Do I take a close loss against the Super Bowl champions a lot more seriously than I do to Washington? Yeah, I do actually. I think that if you can look really good, like Dallas did, and play that game as close as Dallas did, and then you're the Chargers and you beat up on Washington, who doesn't really. I don't know. This game's hard because I think the Chargers are a really good team, and I think the Cowboys are sneaky good. I don't think they have much of a defense, but they can score. They can score a lot of points very quickly. Very good receiving team, very good quarterback. So, that's part of it. I think really what I think this game basically has a shootout score for me. So I kind of think this might come down to what offense I trust more. And right now, I think I trust the Cowboys offense a little bit more than the Chargers offense. That's basically what it comes down to. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, and I think the Cowboys can put up a few more points. That's basically this. I'm probably gonna get this one wrong. I already know it. I'm just gonna give me the Cowboys, whatever, dude. Sunday Night Football. Until I see the Ravens beat the Chiefs and Lamar Jackson beat this Chiefs team, I don't think so. Give me the Chiefs play the Ravens. 3.5-point favorites are the Chiefs with an over/under of 55.5. High over/under in this one. My issue here is that I think Lamar's 0-3 against the Chiefs. The Ravens right now have a ton of injuries. Their defense didn't look that great against the Raiders. If they perform like that again, they'll get beat up on probably like the score. The run game was just, they didn't really have much going, and that kind of really impacted the offense because the offense is based on the run. Yeah, and it's kind of just like, well, and it seems like these Chiefs just have the Ravens. Like, it seems like this version of the Chiefs have Lamar Jackson's number, and they just know how to beat this Ravens team. So until the Chiefs, until the Ravens can actually beat this Chiefs team, till Lamar can beat Mahomes, it's kind of like, well, you got to go Chiefs over Ravens. So give me the Chiefs over the Ravens. And also right now the Ravens are kind of in a bad spot. Monday Night Football. Here's my craziest pick of the week. I would say this is my upset pick of the week. Hear me out. I'm of the belief that the Packers are either they need a couple weeks, they don't care and are losing on purpose, or Rodgers is just doing some weird shit. He might just be having a bad season so far. You really never know. But the fact that they looked that bad in week 1 and the Lions were able to do whatever the hell they did at the end of that game, it kind of makes you go, well, the Lions are going to play very aggressive in this game, in a game against the Packers who looked very lazy week 1. So you have to wonder if that's going to come into play in this game. What if the Packers go, bleh, and they just don't really care again, and Detroit comes in like a fucking bats out of hell in that fourth quarter now that they kind of know what they can do? I'm going to base it on what I think is going to happen. So I think Detroit's going to try to play the entire game like they did that fourth quarter. Extremely try hard, extremely aggressive. Just playing all these they're going to be very they're going to take more chances, because I think that was the problem. They played the first 3 quarters very conservative for some reason, and then they just went, fuck it, and then they just went ballistic. They start doing all this crazy stuff, all the fun gadgetry, and the just trying to mix things up, taking chances. And I think that's what they have to do the entire game, and I think they're going to do that. Get rid of the old conservative crap. It's not going to work. Whereas the Packers, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they need a couple weeks to get their chemistry and their timings down. I don't know if they didn't care to, they're just not trying because Rodgers wants to get the GM and the president, he wants people fired. I really don't know what's going on with Green Bay. I have to see a couple more weeks to kind of get an idea. And based on that, they looked bad in week 1. And they didn't even look like they cared. They didn't look like it bothered them that they lost like that. I don't know. I have to go with the Lions in a crazy upset, 24-17. Plus, the Lions have upset Green Bay in the past, so it's not too crazy. The Lions are Aaron Rodgers, thorn in the side. So the Lions, kind of like how the Dolphins were the thorn in Tom Brady's side. The Lions are kind of the thorn in Rodgers' side, kind of. Yeah, there's my pick record. So that's my picks for week 2. Like I said, I went 7-10 last week. It wasn't what the hell? Why is that up? Fucking bullshit, dude. God damn, I hate Windows sometimes. Whatever. All right. Anyway, all right. That's my week 2 picks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed them. Make sure you leave your picks down below. I'll be sure to get back to them like I did last week. Hopefully everybody does better this week. Hopefully I do better. 7-10 is pretty hard to excuse, but hey, nobody's perfect. And hopefully by week 3, week 4, I'm getting 10 games, 10 plus games a week right again. So. All right, make sure you leave a like. Leave your thoughts down below. I'll be sure to get back to every comment that I can. I always try to do that. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. It helps grow the channel, and I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you to everyone who watched week 1 and everyone who subscribed and left comments. I appreciate that. We're up over 6,400 subs now, which is pretty cool. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything. I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, whenever you listen to this. Make sure you leave your picks and all that, and thanks again. Good luck this week. Hopefully we all do better. Hopefully me especially. Jesus, that was bad. All right, week 2 coming up. Who you got? Let me know. Peace out.